The Joe Rogan Experience.
What I want to see, more even than the DC thing, I want to see Francis Ngannou Stipe 2. Because Francis Ngannou just destroyed Kane and Junior Dos Santos, who, if you guys remember, just a few years ago,
those were the guys.
That
was King Kong and Godzilla right there.
That's the heavyweight division, and he just destroyed both of them. He looks like he got his confidence back. He looks like, like I want to see that rematch.
Yeah, I'm terrified for everybody who gets in the octagon against that guy. Every time he fights somebody, I'm like,
Ngannou?
Yeah, because I remember I still have like shell shock from watching Alistair Overeem get hit with that left hook. I remember.
Oh, that was the hardest knockout I've ever seen.
I remember
ever.
thinking like no one's gonna survive that.
It looked like the back of Alistair Overeem's head touched his ankles.
Yeah,
like it just snapped back.
Dude, I was like, everyone's going out from that. Everyone's going out cold.
That's the thing with the heavyweights. You just have to like have so much respect because it's like, holy shit, dude! Yeah. Like you're getting in there, and it's just like at any moment you're just gone. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather fight a heavyweight than like a 135 pounder, though, just to be hit 1,000 times in the head.
Punch. That's the punch, bro.
That should be a T-shirt, like just the silhouette of that.
It's interesting you say that with DC, where you're like, I just know in as little as we know Mickey Gall, as much as like we've been friends with him for a short amount of time, even like when he fights, there's some different like stakes on it. As a buddy, you're like,
it's hard.
And you must see that a lot, and you're calling it.
Yeah,
like you can't really put much.
It's hard for me when cowboy fights. Oof.
I root against
Those
Bisping,
are hard.
actually.
It was really hard when Brendan was fighting. That was real hard because I'm real tight with him. And we're really good friends. And when he wasn't really doing it anymore, he was still in it, but he wasn't really like 100% in. He was thinking about other things. He was thinking about when he gets out. He didn't have the same focus and intensity in training as he used to. That's hard, man.
That's not the sport to do that in.
Yeah.
No, it's hard. Whenever you're thinking about getting out, get out, because there's people that aren't thinking about getting out. And you got to think about what we were talking about earlier, like Mike Tyson in his prime, angry at everything. Like if you're thinking about getting out and you run in front of a guy like that, or a girl like that, there's female kickboxers that are like that too. They're just fucking vicious, man. And they're waiting. You think you're half in, half out, thinking about cheerleading, wham, shin to the face. You got to be
You're
all
saying at the end,
in.
Brendan could have been beaten by a woman?
Yes.
Am I following you correctly?
I think at the fucking highest levels of any combat sport, you have to be all in. I don't think that's something you could dabble in.
Yeah. It's a hard thing though, because I think in MMA, luckily Brendan is a podcaster, comedian. I think a lot of other guys, they don't have the same.
But they could do other stuff. Like Tyron Woodley's rapping. Tyron Woodley has businesses. I know he's doing something with CBD. I know he's got, he did a record with Wiz Khalifa. I know he does a lot of TMZ stuff. He's a funny dude.
I think you have to become look, Tyron's champion.
Tyron's smart.
Champion, though. It's like he has a huge name.
He was, but he's working. See, he lost his title to Usman, but yet he's still doing all these other things.
Of course, but I think it's easier when you have that name, you're a former UFC champion. I think that alone will probably sort of set you up, as long as you're not a complete idiot for the rest of your life. But there are guys that never get to that very, very top, and if they don't sort of set themselves up for afterwards, they're gonna, when you think about getting out, you're like, shit, dude, the reason they take those fights, what was that one documentary I saw where the guy was like, he'd gotten like crazy brain injuries, and his family was just like, dude, don't take another fight, and he still had to take it. He's had to pay the bills, and it was just like, there was just no other option. He was like barely making money at a gym. So that's the thing where it's like, is a sport where you're all in, and then once it kind of shit hits the fan, it reminds me of comedy, because like it takes minimum 5 to 10 years to figure out if you're going to even be good enough to do it professionally, right? And then at that point, it's your whole life. So that's why you never see people quitting. Nobody quits comedy.
You see a lot of people that maybe they start at like 20, and like by 30, they're 10 years in. And if it's not working out for you, you took the 10 years when you were supposed to be figuring out where the trajectory of like everyone you knew from high school figured out a job, got a house, got married, or whatever.